Okay, so we're going to just do a few examples of ratio, and then you're going to try it on your own. Okay? So, I'm going to do what's called a pictorial for notes. While I am doing notes up here, if you would like to kind of fill in some of your paper notes that Miss Stewart provided with you, you can. You don't have to, though. The idea is that you're paying attention to what I'm writing up here, because I'm going to be asking you some questions. I'm going to need you to participate. Now, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to ask for 2 volunteers. Can I have 2 volunteers, please? Raise their hand.
Please.
Okay, we'll have 1, 2. You 2 over there. Okay, you 2 are going to be scouts. Okay? What a scout is you're going to, while I am teaching, you're also going to be paying attention, because you have to know it too, but you're going to be observing your classmates and looking for someone who's either being respectful, making good decisions, or solving problems. And at the end of the notes, I'm going to ask you to name one person and say one of those 3 things that they demonstrated and why. Okay?
Do we just walk around the room?
No, so you're just going to sit quietly and watch the class and me, because you still have to know the stuff as well. Okay, so ratio. Ratio. A number relationship between 2 things. Ratio. Okay, so that's what we're talking about is ratio. Okay, there are 2 types of ratios. One is a part to part. And we're going to do this with some pictures. So I'm going to draw some smiley faces. I'm going to draw some frowny faces. And if you want to fill in your notes as I'm doing this, you can, or at the bottom of your notes if you'd like to put that in there. So part to part is where you name how many smiley faces there are to how many sad faces there are. So how many smiley faces do you see? Yes.
3.
3 smiles. So we have 3 smiles to how many frowny faces do you see? Yes.
4.
4. Nice. Okay, so I noticed that some of you asked on your observation charts, what does that colon mean? That colon basically means the word 2. We're saying 3 smiles, 2, 4 frowny. We're comparing the 2 things, just like our definition says. We're comparing 2 things. Now we can also write it with also as a fraction. So we could have 3 smiles to 4 frowny faces. So we'd have 3/4. So you can write it as 3 to 4 or 3 to 4. So you can write it either way. So that's part to part. The other one is called part to whole. Okay? So here we're going to compare one of the parts to the whole thing. So if we were doing smiley faces, how many smiley faces did we say total?
3.
Yeah? So we had 3 smiley faces, 2. So for that 2, I'm putting the colon. How many do I have all together? Yes.
7.
7. We have 7 total. So the whole is the total amount. Now that's just with the smiley faces. What else could we have done? Yes, sir.
The sad faces, 2 total.
Yeah, how many sad faces do we have?
4.
Yeah, we have 4 sad to 7 total, right?
Right.
So for the part to whole, we could have 2 different answers. Because it depends on what we're talking about. Are we just talking about smileys or are we talking about frownies? So I could say 3 smileys to 7 total or 4 frownies to 7 total. And what's another way that I could write it? Does anyone remember what I said was another way besides with the colon? A fraction, yes. So we have 3 smiley to 7 total. Or we have 4 frowny to 7 total. So that would be 4 sevenths and 3 sevenths. So those are the 2 different ways that we can write ratios. So we're going to do an example, and then I'm going to have you guys try one on your own. Yes, ma'am?
Can you write ratios as decimal?
You can have decimal ratios. We're not going to worry about that today. Yes. Okay, so here is an example. Okay, would someone raise their hand? Because I would like to have a shape. Someone think of a shape. Yes?
Triangle.
Triangle. Okay. Someone raised their hand. I'd like another shape. Yes? Heart? Okay.
That is the thing that is living in your body.
Okay, so we have triangles and hearts.
Square.
Oh, I just needed those 2. I'm sorry. Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, so for our example, we're going to do a part to part first. Okay, so how many triangles do I have? Yes.
2.
2 triangles. So I have 2 triangles, and I'm going to put a little colon there. And how many hearts do I have? Yes. 4. 4 hearts. Okay. How else could I write this? Besides with the colon. Yes. The fraction. So I could have this as 2 triangle to 4 heart. Now, this fraction looks a little funny to me as a math teacher. What does Mrs. Stewart have you guys do with fractions? Yeah. Reduce them. Can we reduce 2/4?
Yeah.
1/2. So if you can, please remember to reduce. Okay? So we're going to reduce this to 1/2. Now, if we reduce that to 1/2, that means you can also do it to the colon as well. So up here, this could be 1 to 2. It's a little bit easier to see it with the fraction, but you can do it with the colon as well. Okay, so there's our part to part. Let's do the last one, part to whole. And I know this might be a little hard to see. I will raise it up. Okay, so you guys can see it. Okay, so we need to decide the part. We have 2 to choose from. We have triangles or hearts. Which one do you want to do?
Triangles.
Triangles. Okay, how many triangles do we have again? 4. How many triangles? 2. We have 2 triangles. So 2 triangles to how many total altogether?
6.
6. We have 6 total. Because this is comparing to the whole. Okay, so we can also write that as 2 triangles to 6 total. Does that reduce? What? Could someone raise their hand and tell me what 2 6 reduces to? Yes. 1/3. Thank you. You are awesome. So we can have this as 1/3. So that means this can be 1 to 3. Okay, is there another part to whole that we haven't discussed yet that we can do? Yes.
4 to 6.
For what?
4 hearts to 6.
Yeah, we can do 4 hearts to 6 total.
Wait, is this a part to part? Oh,
This is the part to whole. Yep. Because we can do it with triangles. We can also do it with hearts. So part to whole will have 2 possible answers. And we can write that as a fraction, 4 to 6. Okay, what does 4 6 reduce to? Yes.
3. Wait, 2/3?
Yep, good job. Nice. 2/3. Here, I'm going to put a heart here and say total. Okay, so remember, part to part is just comparing the two parts. So 2 triangles to 4 hearts. Part to whole is where you take one of the parts. So let's say you focus on the triangles. Say 2 triangles to 6 total. Or you can focus on the hearts and say 4 hearts to 6 total. Anyone have a question about the 2 types of ratios or how to write them? And what do you have to remember to do when you look at the fractions?
Reduce.
Reduce, yeah. I'm going to bubble this so we can make sure we remember this. Okay, my 2 scouts. Did you see someone either being respectful, making a good decision, or solving their problems?
I saw Yoseline because she was
Can you raise your hand for me? Who's this? Okay, awesome.
Because she was always raising her hand and she was always focusing and writing stuff down.
So which of the 3 was she being?
Respectful.
Respectful. Awesome. So Western, you guys get some points. Nice. I'm going to give you 10 points for that. Hey, who did you see?
I saw Sully.
Raise your hands. Okay. What was he doing?
He's being respectful.
How is he being respectful? You got to tell me how.
He usually is a little wild, so
He did sit still through the whole pictorial, didn't he? He did. Okay, Eastern is 10 points. Nice. Don't worry, we're going to do more Scout Awards this week, so we'll get lots of